The dark truth about human behavior is that most people are not driven by clarity or logic. They are reacting to deep wounds, unresolved trauma, and emotional pain they've carried for years. What looks like anger is often grief. What sounds like criticism is often insecurity screaming through their words. People don't wake up and decide to hurt others for no reason. Their actions are based on inner chaos they haven't yet learned to control. You may think someone is being cruel or heartless, but most of the time, they're simply drowning in emotions they can't name. That's why they lash out. That's why they withdraw. That's why they say one thing and do another. When you expect people to behave logically, you set yourself up for disappointment. Because logic is not what drives behavior, emotion is. And often those emotions are rooted in fear. Fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, fear of not being enough. These fears manifest as defensiveness, control, aggression, or distance. You think you're having a calm discussion, but they think they're fighting for survival. You offer peace. They see a trap. You offer help. They feel judged. Until you learn to see past the surface, you'll keep misreading every signal they send. Empathy becomes a burden when you're giving it to people who haven't yet faced themselves. You try to reason with them, but they haven't even reasoned with their own past. You explain calmly, but they've never known calm. You show kindness, but kindness feels foreign to someone raised in conflict. Most people don't know how to receive what they've never been given. So instead of gratitude, you get resistance. Instead of connection, you get confusion. Instead of understanding, you get chaos. They're not reacting to you. They're reacting to their past. We all carry invisible battles. The difference is whether we're aware of them or not. Some people have never looked inside. They've never asked why they overreact, never explored why certain words make them explode. They live life in a fog of reactivity, blaming others for everything they feel. They never slow down to ask, is this feeling about them or about me? They assume pain is caused by the present when it's often caused by a past that still haunts them. Empty. You can't expect emotional maturity from someone who has never been emotionally safe, and most people haven't. You will suffer deeply if you expect logic from someone still surviving their past. They are wired for defense, not connection. Their nervous system is conditioned to protect them, not to understand you. That's why they shut down when conversations get too deep. That's why they turn cold when you become vulnerable. Their guard isn't about you. It's about you. It's about how the world trained them. So they hide behind anger, behind sarcasm, behind detachment. It's easier to push you away than to risk being seen. Because being seen feels like being judged. Understanding this doesn't mean you tolerate abuse. It doesn't mean you excuse harm, but it means you stop personalizing behavior that was never about you. You stop asking, what did I do wrong? And start realizing, they're fighting battles I can't fix. You stop expecting apologies from people who don't see what they did. You stop wasting energy trying to explain yourself to minds already closed by fear. You realize that some people cannot meet you where you are, no matter how slowly or lovingly you approach. They're still stuck in a world you've outgrown. And it hurts, because we want to believe that love can fix it. That if we just love hard enough, give enough, stay long enough, they'll change. But change doesn't come from receiving love. It comes from facing pain. Until they're ready to confront what's inside, no amount of your kindness will shift them. You're not their healer, you're not their savior, you're not the cure for their past. And expecting to be only drains you. It leaves you empty, confused, and heartbroken, wondering why your light didn't reach them. This is why boundaries are an act of compassion for you and for them. You cannot drag someone out of a storm they refuse to admit they're in. You can offer shelter, but you can't force them to step inside. You can model peace, but you can't make them choose it. Your responsibility is your energy, your clarity, your emotional safety, not their awakening, not their journey. You can love them from a distance. You can root for them without staying in the fire with them. And that is not cruelty, that is wisdom. The more you understand the dark truth of human behavior, the less you take it personally. You stop giving so much power to people's reactions. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop chasing closure from people who are closed off to themselves. You learn to read behavior like a language, not a reflection of your worth. You see the fear under their anger. You notice the pain behind their silence. You recognize the wound behind the wall, and you stop thinking it's your job to tear the wall down. It's theirs. Growth means accepting this hard truth. Not everyone will grow with you. Some will resent your clarity. Some will fight your peace. Some will label your boundaries as cold because they can no longer access your warmth. But that's not your burden to carry. You're allowed to evolve without apology. You're allowed to walk away from confusion, not because you don't care, but because you finally do, about yourself. And once you see people through the lens of pain, fear, and survival, everything changes. Not because they change, but because you do.